All right, subject number one on the show today is an intro to CTRS. That's Care Treatment and Rehabilitative Services. We'll be talking more on this subject over the next 3 weeks or a few weeks. And Gail, you know what, Gail? I've got a lot of friends who are civilians. And you know what they ask me? That they always go by the West Los Angeles VA, and they always ask me, hey, what are all those tents doing outside and inside the West Los Angeles VA? Have you seen what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes, I have. Oh, yes. I think everybody's seen those tents. And, you know, many of the veteran service organizations donated tents for our fellow veterans. Not everything at the VA is paid for by tax dollars. A lot of it's donations from service organizations who donate tents. I know Howard Hernandez and Kyle and Jerry Orleman, who were service animal experts on our show, they all have donated stuff to the tents. And the executive director of the Wellness Center, Tess Banco, mentioned the availability of refrigeration space on, I think it was episode 2 of Voice of the Veteran.
Yes, executive director Banco sure did mention refrigerator space. She mentioned they provided that for the tent. They had just gotten it for the tent camp. You know, that's a great job by the VFWC and Tess Banco. It really struck me when she said that. Thank you to them. Well done. Great job. CTRS, or Care Treatment and Rehabilitative Services, set all of that in motion, working in concert with CARES. And CARES is Community Engagement Reintegration Services. And that's all in a response to the homeless veterans needing to protect themselves from COVID-19 and shelter in place. And that's during the pandemic.
Yeah, that refrigeration space is a huge advantage to them. And the tents are part of a short-term program where veterans receive active case management, 3 meals a day, and the option to shower and other services are designated in designated areas of, you know, VA Greater Los Angeles healthcare system, West LA campus, and also I also hear those vets also receive COVID testing 3 times a week. Is that what you said here? I have a card here that you gave me. Is that right? And is it a nasal swab, or is it that new one that they do in the other end from China? That that new one where you bend over and they no.
It's not that swab, and I'm glad it isn't. I think we've gotten enough. They've had enough of that out there.
I'm going to tell you.
But you're right, Gail. 3 times a week, I believe they're COVID tested. And I think that's still in process, that testing is still going on. I have to verify that part of it. But CTRS, and I'll repeat it again for the Marines. That's Care Treatment and Rehabilitative Services. It's a pilot initiative that allows homeless veterans with combat trauma, veterans who've had trauma in their lives previously to joining the military, along with those battling substance abuse issues, mental health issues, or a whole host of other issues to engage with mental health and medical care. And this will hopefully lead homeless veterans into transitional or permanent housing.
And it's important for us to let them know that to participate in CTRS, veterans can call 1-877-222-8327. So Nicholas, finish telling them up about CTRS while I drop that number in the chat box. I'll go find it right now.
Thank you, Gail. And I want to send a shout out to Bob Rubin because he taught me to call that phone number. So I did call that phone number, and I got the VA, and I was able to ask questions like, hey, how do I get my tent set up out on the site there? And I was put on hold. the operator checked it out for me, came back. I had to tell them the VISN, right? They were looking for the VISN because I said, hey, I'm in Greater Los Angeles area. The initial call is to set up for enrollment into the VA system. So then I needed to be directed to where I needed to go. What I was wanting to do was put the 10 on site. And so I was guided through the process, and the operator was so diligent in helping me and eventually got me the homeless coordinator at the West Los Angeles VA. And thankfully, because we cover VISNs on this show, I was able to aid in that by directing them to my VISN. And that's thank you, Gail. And you know, it's a pleasure to be able to learn these things. When we look at the VA network, it's important because by knowing the structure, we can navigate the system. And I learned that firsthand on that phone call. Care Treatment Rehabilitative Services is a low demand, low barrier shelter, and it has room for 100 platform tent sites. So out there on the Great Lawn, there's room for 100 platform tent sites, of which 38 as of last week when Gail and I were in the CVEB meeting, it was reported there's 38 occupied right now. 350 veterans have gone through that program, and we're going to share, yes, 350 have gone through the program. We're going to share more on it next week on CTRS, and we're going to provide deeper insight into that entire initiative, as well as those tents lined up outside on the sidewalk there outside on San Vicente, the West LA VA, with the American flags posted on it. And, you know, look forward to sharing that with you all next week.